Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia and this is the Honest Booktuber Tag. This tag was originally created by Harriet Rosie and she tagged me in it, so thank you very much, Harriet. Harriet Rosie is very much the queen of booktube about booktube tags, and I always love talking about booktube. I also love talking about myself, so perfect. This tag is all about being really honest about certain things that we booktubers may or may not do. And in the spirit of that, I have not written any of the answers down like I usually would for a tag. Instead, I'm going to answer them as I see the questions. So I have the questions in front of me, but I haven't really thought about the answers yet. In the spirit of spontaneity, let's see if this works out. Let me get straight into the questions then. Question 1. Have you ever lied about reading a book? I have mistakenly thought that I had read a book when I hadn't. The example that I remember is as a teenager, I had this edition of Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, and it stopped about halfway through, but I thought that was the entire book. Now, the actual book, Gone with the Wind, is I think over 1,000 pages long. It's a pretty big book, and my edition clearly just kind of finished after the first 2 or 3 parts. And then you were expected to get the next book in the series, basically, to finish the entire book Gone with the Wind. But I didn't know that, so I proclaimed that I'd read Gone with the Wind when I actually hadn't. So I still don't really know the ending for Gone with the Wind. Question 2. Have you ever avoided a book because of controversy around the content or author? Yes, kind of. So this is quite a recent example. A while ago I did a video called Reacting to Men Writing Women, in which I read out some of the awful descriptions of women that were produced by male writers. And in the context of that, I read out a quote by popular author Haruki Murakami. And while I was reading that quote, I already thought, dude, I don't think I'm going to read your books if this is how you talk about women. And then a lot of people in the comments also said that his books aren't really worth it because of the way he talks about women. And that was the first time that I actually heard that about him, because before then, all I'd heard was booktubers gushing about his writing. So that kind of made me think that I might be better off just avoiding his books altogether. Question 3. Have you ever been sent a book for free and not disclosed it? No. My channel is still fairly small and I have never yet received a free book. However, I have been offered free books. I've had emails sent to my email address saying, would you like to read this book and then talk about it on your channel? And so far I have turned them all down simply because I wasn't really that interested in the books. So if I ever get that offer about a book that I am actually interested in, then yes, I will accept that. And I would like to think that I will disclose that when I talk about the book. I really don't see the point in not doing so. What is the point of pretending you've bought something when you haven't actually bought it? I don't know. I'm generally all about transparency on my own channel, hence why I talk about things like monetization. I always try and make my description boxes as actually descriptive as possible. I like to think that my channel is quite easy to navigate as a viewer, because a lot of things that are online, especially when it comes to stuff like sponsorships, monetization, about how people actually make money on social media and on YouTube, I think a lot of that is kind of hushed up and is hidden, and people just go on YouTube and pretend that this is definitely not an income and this is definitely something that I would do if I wasn't paid for it. Specifically talking about sponsorships and things like that. And I just don't think that's the correct way to do it. And I would like to think that if my channel ever gets to that point where I am sent free things, that I will not have any problems disclosing that and talking about things like that. I also think that it creates kind of a wrong image, especially on BookTube. So I've had a few comments on some of my videos lately praising me for not having a lot of books and talking about how other booktubers just haul and have so many books that they never read. And I don't think the people who comment such things understand that a lot of booktubers who haul a lot of books get those books for free. that this is not a brainless consumerism type issue where people just buy and buy and buy lots of books and then don't read them. But on the other hand, that people get these books for free in order to talk about them online, that this is just another form of advertising. This is just another form for publishers to get the word out about their products. Yeah, I'm hoping that if I ever get to that stage with my channel where I'm being sent a lot of things, that I can use that to educate people on how this works. Rant over. Question 4. Have you ever bought a book with no intention of reading it? Well, yes. I mean, there are some books that you just buy because they're pretty, right? There are some books that you buy to put on your coffee table. There are some books that you buy for your perfect future self. And I think everyone does that. Let me see if I can find some. Oh, the microphone cable isn't long enough. Actually, this isn't a good example because I didn't buy this one. Whatever. So this isn't a book that I actually bought. This is a book that I found at my parents' house and then stole from them. But this is a really beautiful old edition of Goethe's works. Right, so this is written in Old German Fraktur. You know, this typeface. This was published in 1925. It's absolutely gorgeous. But am I really going to read Goethe's ballads from this edition? Probably not. Let's be honest, I'll probably just Google them and then look at them on my laptop. But it's a nice object to have on a bookshelf. And like I said earlier, having books as objects is a perfectly fine reason to have a book. Question 5. Have you ever got caught up in BookTube drama? Yes. Either last year, I think it was last year, there was a bit of controversy about a booktuber making some kind of disrespectful remarks about young female YA booktubers. And I may or may not have done a little sketch parody reaction video to that. Am I really going to link this up here? Okay. Yes, I did that. Question 6. Have you ever had a hate comment and did you respond? Yes and yes. So, like Harriet mentioned in her video, I get hate comments more often than not when I talk about political issues. Now, I've done a few videos about Brexit because that is something that is affecting me and my life. And I now have uploaded 3 Brexit videos on my channel, and all of them, but in particular the first one, I got so many hate comments, so many troll comments. Most of them are still up there. Again, if you want to check out the comment section in that video, then go for it. Do it at your own peril. I did delete some comments that were outright using abusive language because, like, listen, I'm not having people use certain terms, certain words on my channel. This is a space that I curate, and no one should be looking through my comment section coming across one of those words. That's just not on. So those comments, straight up deleted. Rape and death threats, straight up deleted. There's just no reason for me to even engage with those other than to remove them. Everything else, I have to admit, I did a little bit enjoy replying to. I know they say don't feed the trolls, but actually I think engaging with the trolls, if you have the mental energy to do so, can be kind of satisfying. Certain people who decided to argue with me on political issues, I would just reply back, and I mean, I didn't necessarily even kind of get angry at them or get aggressive at them. Sometimes I just asked them questions. Sometimes I just straight up trolled back. That's just me. That's just my personality. I think everyone has the right to deal with hate and troll comments in whichever way they like. And I think it's totally fine to delete comments, it's totally fine to ignore comments, it's totally fine to just lock your comment section altogether if that is not something that you want to deal with. And I'm sure the way that I react to hate and troll comments changes depending on my mood and depending on how I'm feeling that day. But yeah, I've certainly had my fair share of those. And something else that I've started getting, and this is, I feel like, something that's not brought up a lot on BookTube, but I've been getting some creepy messages on my personal Instagram. Now on Instagram you can message other people, whether they follow you or not. And I've had a surprising number of creepy men sending me creepy messages on Instagram. And listen, if you've ever seen my Instagram, I upload pictures of my cats. Like, I'm not even on my Instagram. It's all cat pictures. So that just shows just the kind of general level of background noise that you have to endure by being a woman on the internet. Question 7. Have you ever made a video just because you knew it would get views? Yes, kind of. So the one instance of this that comes to mind is when J.K. Rowling's latest book, Lethal White, came out. Now, this is a crime novel that she published under her pseudonym Robert Galbraith, and that was a new release of last year. I would have read that book anyway. I'm a huge fan of the Robert Galbraith series. I think they're lovely, lovely books. I really love them. But this is the first time that I've actually pre-ordered a book, like, ever in my life. Why? Because, first of all, I wanted to read it before I got spoiled elsewhere. So I wanted to be one of the first to read this new book. Then also I knew that if I made a video about this as close to release date as possible, that would naturally garner some attention, because people would be searching for that book online. And then if I already had content up about that specific book that was getting hype and that was going to be a bestseller, that people were going to find my video. So what I did was I actually recorded myself reacting to the book as I was reading it. So after every chapter of me reading that book, I would record a short clip. Then after I finished the book, which only took about 2 or 3 days, even though it's a massive book because it's such a good book. Anyway, after I finished that book, I edited all of those clips together and uploaded them. And that video came out just a week or so after the book was released. And as predicted, it got quite a few views from people specifically finding content about Lethal White by Robert Galbraith. By the way, I'm mentioning a lot of specific videos of mine. I am going to link all of them in the description box if you're curious about this and if you want to check out exactly what I'm talking about. Question 8. If you could go back to the beginning of your channel, would you do anything differently? I would probably spend a bit more time researching the etiquette of BookTube. Now, I was already watching BookTube when I started my channel. And I started with a friend who wasn't into BookTube at all. But I was already watching a lot of BookTube channels. But if you're just a viewer and you're not actively kind of doing research, then you don't realize something. So for example, when I did the BookTube newbie tag, I forgot to mention or credit the original creator. And that is something that you just don't do. You know, that's just not on. We don't do that. But I didn't realize that's such a big deal, and so I didn't do that. So I did make some rookie mistakes like that now I'm looking back on myself and thinking that's kind of rude. So maybe that is something that I would change. Otherwise no, I'm actually quite happy with how my channel progressed. I mean, obviously at the beginning I recorded on my laptop, so like image quality wasn't great, but hey, no one expects that from anyone. So I'm not beating myself up for using a webcam. Nothing major, apart from this kind of, maybe I should have looked into BookTube etiquette a little bit more before making these kind of accidentally rude mistakes. Question 9. Are there any channels you wish you could be more like? Oh, tons of channels. But weirdly, all of the channels that I admire are completely different. So there is no way that I could ever be like all of these channels at the same time. For example, I love channels that have got super sleek editing, like really cool kind of cuts that really know how to use editing software well. But then at the same time, I admire channels that are kind of more free-flowing, more chatty, more off the cuff. Then also I like channels that are super analytical, that are basically video essays, and there's no way that my channel could be like all of those things at the same time. I mean, among the channels that I admire, I'm just going to list a few. Katie from Books and Things, like, I just love the way that she talks about books. I wish I had her vocabulary and I wish I had her way of talking about books. Just love it. Books by Lanes. Oh, she's just hilarious. She makes me laugh in every single one of her videos, and I wish I was just that funny. Cara from Wild Book Garden, just lovely channel. She reads so diversely and she is comfortable talking about 19th century classics, and she's comfortable talking about 21st century middle grade books in equal measures, and that's just amazing. Books like Whoa, just gorgeous looking videos. I mean, I do admire her makeup. I wish I could do eyeshadow like she can, and her videos are just very aesthetically pleasing. Lucy and Scott from Bookaxe, hilarious interactions. Just the entertainment value of their channel is where I would like mine to be, but definitely I'm not there. Rashmika from Rashmika Likes Books, again, she is so off the cuff funny. I'm just in awe of her natural wit and sarcasm. Bookie Laura, short and to the point, does not ramble as much as I do. Lauren from Lauren and the Books, she has the best personality. Jean from Jean Bookish Thoughts is probably the first booktuber that I ever watched. Either her or Jen Campbell. I remember the first booktube video I ever watched was a collaboration between them, and both of them have been huge influences on me, and I just wish I could be like them. So there's just a few for you. I'll link all of those channels down below, even though you've probably heard of most of them already. Right, let's move on to, I believe, the last question, which is, what's something you love about your channel? And something that I like, I wouldn't go so far as to say love, something I like about my channel is that I feel like I mix my content up enough. Now this can sort of be to the channel's detriment, because I believe that people in general value consistency more than anything. So for example, when I do a wrap-up video, I put a lot of work into it. I always script out my wrap-up videos and I try and edit them well. But when I do a wrap-up video, I know that people are going to watch it. I know that people are going to like those and comment on those. But so that I don't get bored, I often do other things. So I've been enjoying more vlog style videos lately, either reading vlogs or one that was a little bit different, that was a little bit out there, was one where I did a 3-hour morning routine. I filmed myself doing a 3-hour morning routine every day and then cut that together. So I think I enjoy the creativity of being able to do what I want. So switching up the more traditional booktube formats, you know, hauls, TBR, wrap-ups, book tags, I enjoy switching those up with other types of content, whether that's a weight loss video for my cat, or a video about Brexit, or a discussion video, something that isn't necessarily to do with books. And I like the variety of that. I think I hit the right balance. Let me know if you disagree. Thank you so much to Harriet for tagging me. Let me tag some people. I'm just looking at the list of people that she tagged, just to make sure I'm not tagging the same people. So I would like to tag Bookie Laura. I don't even know if she does tags, but if you do tags, Laura, please do this one, because you're always so honest and open on your channel. I think it would be a lot of fun to watch this. I've also seen that Cara from Wild Book Garden hasn't been tagged in the original, so again, Cara, we are kind of booktube twins, as in we started our channels within like days of each other, so I'd really like to see Cara do this tag as well. And then finally, I'd like to tag another booktuber whose discussion videos I enjoy a lot, and again, who has a very open and honest way of talking, and that is Annalisa Ely. So Annalisa, if you've not done this tag yet, then please do it, because I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. That's it from me. This video is now 26 minutes long, so let's see how much I managed to edit this down. So in the spirit of Harriet Rosie's, whose videos regularly are on the 20-minute line, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Bye.